My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearance from last year, you can go to hagoodman.com. In this segment, I'm going to discuss what takes place if Joe Biden decides to run after Hillary Clinton drops out because of the FBI recommending indictments. If Bernie Sanders is not the Democratic nominee, you're going to have a big problem within the Democratic Party. And I believe that the majority of Bernie Sanders supporters will never back Joe Biden, even if Warren is the vice president. Elizabeth Warren, I have a great deal of respect for. And I wrote an article in 2014 saying that she should be the first female president, not Clinton. Although I am a bit disappointed that she didn't endorse Bernie Sanders. I think a great many people are disappointed. But aside from that, I'm going to discuss what takes place if Bernie Sanders is not the Democratic nominee, if Clinton is forced to drop out, and if the establishment pushes Joe Biden and he decides to run. And they try to give Biden the nomination. Number one, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks has a fantastic segment on this, and I put the link below. I'm a big fan of Cenk Uygur and all of the people at the Young Turks, and I think you should subscribe. They're awesome. But Cenk talks about what will take place. It would be a complete fiasco and a travesty for the Democratic Party, and it would be chaos. I agree 100%. I will just add a couple of things, and I'll take a couple of things even further. Number one, I don't believe Biden really wants to run. I think that the establishment is just grasping at straws. I think they don't want structural change, so they're going to do everything possible to prevent the reinstatement of Glass-Steagall, breaking up the banks, free college tuition, an end to perpetual wars and quagmires, single payer for health care. They're going to go ahead and do everything possible to prevent that. So they're furthering the rumor that Biden will run. I don't believe he wants to become president. He would have had a campaign. He would have ran already. That's number one. Number two, if Biden runs, and if the establishment backs Biden rather than Bernie Sanders, you are looking at a mutiny, a revolt within the Democratic Party. It would be the biggest slap in the face, the most overt form of corruption you could ever imagine, because Bernie Sanders is the logical choice if Clinton decides to drop out, and I believe he's going to beat Clinton anyway, because I believe that she will get indicted, and I believe Biden will not run. He would have ran already. He would have had a campaign. He's been vice president for 8 years. He's had enough. But I do believe that Bernie's going to win regardless. But let's say hypothetically Biden decided to run. You are looking at millions and millions of people, and to be exact, there's 9,426,517 people who have voted for Bernie Sanders thus far. Bernie Sanders has won 19 states. Bernie Sanders has 1,433 pledged delegates after being an independent for his entire life. Hillary Clinton has 1,716 pledged delegates. She's been running for decades. She is a Democratic, quote-unquote, icon. She controls the Democratic Party. And here is this independent who embodies progressive values while Hillary Clinton takes prison lobbyist money. She's taken more money from prison lobbyists than even Jeb Bush, voted for the Iraq War, is advised by Henry Kissinger. Bill and Hillary have raked in $153 million from Wall Street. does not want to, and basically that money is so that she doesn't address structural issues like breaking up the banks, like reinstating Glass-Steagall. So you have stark differences between Clinton and Sanders. If the establishment were to push Biden to run, and if Biden ran, you are looking at definitely the formation of a third party or a fracture within the Democratic Party that would allow Trump to win. Number three, even if Elizabeth Warren, even if Biden says, well, I want Warren to be my vice president, I don't think the majority of Bernie Sanders supporters would care. I think that they would know that it's all a game and show business, and that the only reason that Biden would pick Warren is to go ahead and get the support of Bernie voters. Bernie Sanders, if it's not Bernie Sanders, I'm writing in his name. That's me. And I know there's a great many people out there who agree with me. But number four, aside from being an absolute slap in the face and an insult, this is about structural change. So if you're a Hillary supporter and you just think I'm nuts and you just don't understand why people wouldn't vote for Biden even if Warren was the vice president, this has been about structural change from the beginning. People vote for Bernie Sanders, and on the conservative side, the Republican side, they voted for Trump, even though, Trump is part of the establishment. I can go on forever about that. He goes golfing with Bill. He's given money to Hillary Clinton, invited them to his wedding. But the point is, this is an anti-establishment election. On the Democratic side, people are voting for Bernie Sanders because they want structural change. Structural change, breaking up the banks to ensure that we don't have another financial collapse if too big to fail banks go under. Very simple. Biden doesn't want that. Of course, Hillary Clinton doesn't want that. Bernie does. Endless wars. I don't know if Biden would refrain from sending more troops to Syria. I do know that Hillary Clinton is advised by Henry Kissinger. And I do know that Bernie Sanders says, I'll be damned to more quagmires. And he will not send Americans abroad in the manner that Hillary Clinton is advocating. Clinton is a hawk. So this is about structural change. And if the Democratic Party and if superdelegates force Biden to run and he runs, you're looking at a Trump victory, because people are just going to there are just going to be protest votes where they don't even go to the polls or they write in Bernie Sanders' name. So I would write in Bernie Sanders' name. I'm not voting for Biden, even though I think he's an honorable human being. And of course, I would never vote for Clinton. I'm only voting for Bernie Sanders. Number five, Bernie Sanders beats Donald Trump by a wider margin than Hillary Clinton. He beats Donald Trump by 13 points. Clinton beats Trump by 6.4 points and can't keep a polling lead. And she has an FBI criminal investigation, which I talked about in another segment. The FBI, James Comey just said, it's an investigation. It's not a security review, Hillary supporters. Not a security review. Not security review. Criminal investigation. The FBI investigates whether or not crimes have been committed. And that's what they're doing with Hillary Clinton. I believe she will face indictments. Once that happens, it has to be Bernie Sanders. Okay? He's won 19 states. He wins California, and he has a great chance just by virtue alone of saying, hey, I have the political momentum. Superdelegates, you need to come to me. But regardless, even if he does well in California, doesn't win, he beats Trump by a wider margin, and he's defeated Trump by a wider margin since September of 2015. You're looking at a far better candidate than Hillary Clinton. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows Bernie Sanders is a better general election candidate. Okay? In every single major poll, Hillary Clinton has negative favorability ratings, sometimes by a margin of 20 points. When people don't like Clinton, they really don't like Clinton. And that goes for progressives as well, not just Republicans. So Trump will beat Biden. Bottom line, you think that if you're a superdelegate, if you're a Democrat, establishment Democrat, you think that Biden should run if Clinton gets indicted. You're out of your mind. You're stupid and you're a fool. Because Trump will put a neon Trump sign outside the White House and he will win. He'll beat Biden. And as it is right now, if Clinton's the nominee, and I don't think she will be, I think that she'll have big issues with the FBI. But Trump will beat Clinton. Bernie Sanders destroys Trump. There's all the hundreds of thousands of people who've showed up to hear Bernie Sanders speak. They'd all vote for him. Okay, the general election is not a closed Democratic primary. Republicans, independents, everyone can vote for Bernie. I mean, it will be a beautiful moment in American history when Bernie becomes president. I don't think Biden's going to run, but if he does, Biden loses to Trump. Clinton won't. Clinton will get indicted, and we will see that she will in the next month or so. Number 6, the email scandal. 22 top secret emails. Brian Pagliano's 4 years at the State Department, completely missing in terms of emails. 31,830 emails deleted by Hillary Clinton. Now today, what did we find out? That she also had unsecured phone lines. Okay. There's no limit to the security measures that Clinton will take as president, right? She jeopardized national security. Hillary Clinton jeopardized national security. It's obvious to anyone paying attention. So this email issue is going to undo the Clinton campaign. It's not a security review. It's a criminal investigation. Hillary Clinton did not own the private server for convenience. Number 7, I do agree with Cenk Uygur. This will destroy the Democratic Party. His quote is, it would be a debacle of epic proportions, and I agree. It would be a debacle of epic proportions. And I think that it would be the impetus for the formation of a third party or a fracture within the Democratic Party. And it could be 3 or 4 parties in addition to the Green Party. Okay, so superdelegates, if you're listening, not good for you if Biden runs. Number 8, I touched upon this. You're looking at a Democratic Party in a tailspin right now. In many ways, the Republicans are in better shape than we are. Problem is, with the Democratic Party, there are progressive writers who don't see that the Titanic is sinking. And they look at it and they say, wow, half the ship is above water. Isn't that fantastic? You have a criminal investigation of Hillary Clinton, who spent her entire life working to become president, who's the most powerful person within the Democratic Party, who couldn't make it out of her 10 years Secretary of State without an FBI investigation. Then you have Joe Biden, who's being talked about now, who doesn't even want to run. The establishment is in disarray. This year is about Bernie Sanders. The Democratic Party will be about Bernie Sanders very soon. He will win the nomination, and he will become president. But all this is just hoopla and rumors and people just digging their heels in, not wanting to accept reality. The reality is that Bernie Sanders is the best candidate. Joe Biden does not want to run. Hillary Clinton is not only flawed, she's potentially a criminal. And Bernie Sanders has a movement and a political revolution that is changing the paradigm of progressive politics. Number 9, really quickly, And 9 and 10, when you look at Trump and when you look at what he's done within the Republican Party, so Trump has basically pandered to, racist bigots within the Republican Party. He said outlandish things. He's now the Republican nominee. They love that stuff. Conservatives love that stuff, and they say, well, you know what? He sticks it to whatever he said. It was, of course, racist, bigoted. Many conservatives like that. That's part of their value system. People say Trump is not really a Republican, or, in many ways he's not, but what he did was pander to the Republican base. So the grassroots of the Republican Party love Trump. You look at the Democratic Party, we're the opposite. If it's a progressive candidate, a person like Bernie Sanders who embodies progressive ideals, we shun that person. Or a great many people just say, just can't happen. All those progressive writers who should have backed Bernie Sanders instead of Hillary Clinton, if they had backed Bernie Sanders, if they had put their support, if there were 30, 40, 50 H.A. Goodmans out there, imagine what would have taken place. And already, Bernie Sanders is neck and neck in many ways with Hillary Clinton, forcing a contested convention. So when it comes to progressive ideals, the Democratic Party does not cater to its base the way the Republicans do. Trump says racist things, boom, he's now the Republican nominee. Bernie Sanders embodies progressive ideals, and everyone in the Democratic establishment says no. And now they're saying, well, if it's not Clinton, it's Biden. So that should tell you about Democrats and what they think of their ideals. I am only voting for Bernie Sanders in 2016. I don't care if Biden's running. I will never back Joe Biden, even though I respect him. I will never back Hillary Clinton, and I believe she committed that she engaged in criminal activity, and that she will be indicted. I am only supporting Bernie Sanders, and I know that there's a great many people who will never support Joe Biden, and who will take Joe Biden running as a slap in the face and as a very big insult. Thank you so much for listening.